Today I'm going to demonstrate how to play Iron Man on the guitar. If you're not familiar with this song, well, first off, I'm shocked because if you're a guitar lover, it's all over the place. It's a classic rock song by Black Sabbath. So check that out if you haven't heard that before. Iron Man by Black Sabbath. The riff itself is based with power chords. I'm going to explain what that means here in a minute. You might be noticing that I'm moving all the way down here, all the way up here. So it's quite a horizontal riff. We have to do a lot of moving with our arm. And there's also some string muting going on that we're going to talk about as well. So to get started, this entire riff, and this is the intro riff, by the way. We'll get into the other pieces later. The entire intro riff occurs on the 4th and the 5th strings. So when we number the strings, I'm starting from the high E string. That's the 1st string. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this whole riff happens on those 2 strings only. So now to the power chord thing. So if you listen carefully, you can hear that there's only 2 notes being played in one of the power chords. Even right here, just moving my hand back and forth. So starting from the very beginning, I'm going to be on the 2nd fret of the 5th string and the 4th fret of the 4th string. And this is pretty much what our hand is always going to look like. My 3rd finger, in relation to my 1st finger, my 3rd finger will always be 2 frets away and 1 string lower. So you have to train your hand to always stay like this and you never want them to be level. They're always going to be slightly off a little bit by 1 string. So train your hand to move across the fretboard without your fingers diminishing in distance or spreading out. They need to be very much solid. Okay, so whenever you develop your finger staying in one place, then what you can do is just focus on where your 1st finger's going, because we're going to be moving around a lot. So remember that your 3rd finger will always be in the same place in relation to your 1st. So just watch where your 1st finger goes. And I'm going to demonstrate it one more time and show you where my 1st finger is going. So, without the full power chord, my 1st finger is playing 2, 5, 5, 7, 7, 10, 9, 10, 9, 10, 5, 5, 7, 7. One more time, that's 2 and 5, 5, 7, 7, 10, 9, 10, 9, 10, 5, 5, 7, add the next finger, 5, 5, 7, 7. And it's as simple as that. It just usually repeats 4 times in the song. So you do that riff 4 times and then it moves on to the next section. So the next thing I'm doing that maybe your eyes can't see, but your ears definitely can hear, is I am muting the strings with my left hand. Because with a power chord, it's not like an open string G chord where I'm hitting all the strings. I'm only hitting 2 strings at a time. But if you watch my pick with this hand, I'm not worrying too much about what string it hits. It's because I'm muting the strings with my left hand. If I don't mute the strings, it sounds like this. Well, it sounds awful. I'm not even going to finish it. So let me explain what I'm doing here. Now, first off, remember we got 2nd fret on the 5th string pushed down and 4th fret on the 4th string pushed down. So first off, with my first finger, I'm pushing down that 2nd fret, but I'm also pushing on the bottom of the 6th string, because we're not using that string at all, right? So I'm not, now this is important, I'm not pressing on the string, because that would make it have a sound. I'm pushing on the string below it and using the top part of my finger to basically brace the string so that all you hear is that. It's not a note, it's just a kind of a ghost note, if you will. And you don't hear it when I play the entire thing. All you hear is the correct strings vibrating. Now we have the rest of the strings to think about, which is the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings, because we don't want those to ring either. I'm also muting those with my 1st finger and my 3rd finger as well. So my 3rd finger is doing a similar principle as my 1st. I'm pushing on that 4th string and I'm using the bottom part of my 3rd finger to mute the 3rd string. So instead of pushing on the string above it like I did with my 1st finger, I'm allowing it to rest on the string below it and mute the 3rd string. Now for the 1st and 2nd strings, I'm actually using my 1st finger to mute those as well. If I bring it around here, you can see that my 1st finger, you always want your fingers to be arched, but depending on what strings you want muted, you will kind of think about where your elbow's at and move your hand forwards or backwards. If I wanted them to ring, I would bring my hand forward. But in the case of Iron Man, we don't, so I'm going to bring my 1st finger. It's still curved, it's not laying flat like that, but it is still curved, and I'm just allowing the lower part of the finger to rest on the strings. So all you hear is that, even though I'm striking all the strings, okay? So once you have the principle of keeping your fingers structured for the power chord and also muting the strings, and memorize the notes, you should be able to play Iron Man with no problem, okay? So I hope you found that lesson enjoyable. If you have any questions or comments, just message the Evia music page and we'll get back to you. Y'all have a great rest of the month and stay cool. Adios.